Okay, I have a busy day today. This is what's left of 6 turkeys, no, 5 because one whole one went in the freezer. 5 turkeys and 2 roosters. Here is the beautiful jellified broth. I'm going to be scraping the fat off the top of this soon. These have been out in my porch in the canners and in the pots, keeping nice and cold out in the porch. My jars have just come out of the dishwasher. They're all sterilized. I'm going to can some meat, a little bit of meat in a jar of broth for soup base. And the rest, I think I'm going to grind and dry can. I mean, when I dry can ground beef or ground pork, it's always cooked, right? Okay, we might as well visit while we work, okay? So, I'll have to talk a little louder than normal. Sorry that my head's cut off a little bit. Okay, this is the part of the job I kind of hate. But I get to sit down, so I'm not going to argue. I've got a double bag here for bones and so anyway, Howie phoned me from work today, and I guess he's been talking to the owner of the Luskville Dragway, and he put us in the news. The Luskville Dragway, what is this? He put it in the Luskville Dragway news that we are hopefully new members come spring. Grace, Frankie, I can't touch you, so you got to catch it. There we go. I took as much of the cuttable meat off as I could of these birds. But the thing is, folks, you know, there's tendons and legs and ligaments, and it's really, really hard to grind. Grinding the raw meat was a real challenge. Yeah, some of these bones are so soft that they're crumpling in my hands. And when they do that, I will give those to the dogs. Sometimes when you get down to the smaller meat, now look. Like, come on. That's the breast of a rooster, kids. That is the tiniest wishbone I have ever seen. I don't even think you can see that. All right, I'm going to leave you guys because you don't want to sit here watching me go through these 2 big bowls of stuff. So I'm going to leave you while I sit here, put on some Christmas music because it's snowing outside, and I'm gonna muck about. I've taken the fat off and given it to the dogs. People often ask me how I get my broth to do this. Pressure cook it with the bones. Okay, here's my canner on with the rack in the bottom, the required amount of water, and enough white vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. Here's my broth all nice and heated up. And here is 14 jars. Now, Howie doesn't like a lot of meat in his soup. And if I actually had celery and carrots on hand, I would put those in there with some onions. But you know what? At least I have the starter, right? So let's get going. Okay, you can't see it, but over here I have my washed and rinsed lids and inserts. And now I'm just going to start filling my jars. Where is my ladle? I filled them up to 1 inch from the top. I have dipped this in my canner water because it has vinegar in it. And I'm going to always, always, always wipe the rims. I did not debubble. Why? Because this is 90% liquid, so it really doesn't need it. On goes a lid, a ring, and into the canner that goes. I'll tell you something, folks. This is one of those things I can send home with Arthur and Mel. And they have been dehydrating celery and carrots because I bought them a dehydrator for Christmas a few years ago. And they use it faithfully every year when fresh vegetables are in season. So this is one of those things that they can take a couple of jars of these home because they don't have a pressure canner yet. And pop one of these into a pot and throw their dehydrated veggies in, and Bob's your uncle. They have a meal that we made together. Kinda, isn't that cool? Briar, well, I'm going to give him canned ground meat because he uses that more on like pizzas. Like he makes his, he'll buy cheap pizzas and he'll dress them up. And I like to make sure he has like canned ground meat for that. See, isn't that beautiful? Into the canner that goes. Okay, my jars are in the canner and I'm going to put the lid on and come back. And yes, I forgot that I now use a measuring cup to pour my broth because it works so well and I can hang it on the side of the pot. So my canner over there is venting a steady stream of steam and we're going to let it do so for 10 minutes and then I'm going to put a 10-pound weight on it and we'll be back. I have to continue to can. Okay, our first canner's been venting a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes. So on goes the 10-pound weight. And as soon as that begins to jiggle, we're going to time these for 90 minutes because we're using quarts. If it was pints, it would be 75. And this one hasn't even started to vent yet. Sorry folks, I thought I was recording. Right now, I'm grinding up the left of this meat because when you can ground meat, you have to cook it first. This is already cooked, so why not grind it and can it, right? Awesome. Okay, so now we are on our last job of canning for this meat. This is the ground meat that I ground after it was cooked. Looks beautiful. I don't know why I didn't think to do that before. So now, using my ice cream scoop and a funnel, I'm just going to fill these jars. Now, you don't have to put liquid in when you're canning your ground meat. You can can it dry. And that way, now I want to push this down quite a bit. And that way, you have it ready to go, already cooked, to top a pizza, put in tacos, put in spaghetti sauce for a fast meal. Now this will pack down in the jar because it vacuum seals. So that's why I push it down just a little bit. You don't want to tight pack it because then it would become a viscosity issue. So we're just gonna fill it up to a 1/2 inch from the top, as always, and wipe your rims and threads, lid on, into the canner. This goes. And when I have the rest done, we'll be back. Okay, so these are in the pressure canner, and I'm going to process these because they're in pints, but they're still meat. So I'm going to process these at 10 pounds pressure for 75 minutes. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes. And that wraps up my canning. Follow the same procedure that I did for the broth. It's just the time is different. Now remember folks, follow your manufacturer's directions. Check your directions. If you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level, your weights and processing time may change. So there it is. I have 14 jars of broth with just a little bit in the meat in the bottom so we can have soup. And 8 jars of ground turkey, and it turned out beautiful. I have to admit that looks really good. I was worried that it was going to be too dry because it is turkey and chicken. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying 14 jars of broth with meat, 2 jars of broth, 8 pints of ground cooked canned turkey meat, 12 packages of ground turkey meat in the freezer, and a 12-pound turkey. 12 seems to be the magic number. Not a bad haul. Mwah! Take care. God bless.